Steve Richard, and we're going to cover the racing that was presented by Winston Select of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series 4-division action that took place on Saturday evening, June the 4th. We hope you stay with us. In the next 30 minutes, we'll cover the main events from our Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models, Pro Stocks, Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, and the Pure Stocks. Steve Areno, going into tonight's show, we've got to look at one situation with our Premier Division, the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models. 4 races run for them so far in the 94 season and 4 different winners.
You have to wonder if that trend's going to continue. We've had some guys that have been running well in the pack but haven't won yet. Guys like Barry Audi, Rick Miller, Steve Pellis. When's going to be their turn in the barrel to visit Victory Lane and take the checkered?
But what's with this tie? What is this?
That's my tool tie. Don White told me if I brought my tools, I could be on his pit crew tonight.
Where's your gapper on there?
Gapper to measure the space between your ears? The empty space.
Hey, look, you know the
Don't
passing
make fun of my
flag?
tie.
You know the passing flag with the
diagonal stripe?
Of course I know the
passing flag,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Well, Starter Run Brett told me that if you wear a diagonal stripe tie, that we can just pass you over.
Yeah, right. And I'm assuming that Speedo the Clown gave you this tie after he cleaned up the oil spill.
Hey, look, we got some racing to do. Don't get tied up in this.
Don't be such a knothead.
It's sizzling hot. It's the best pizza deal you can cut. A deal that isn't skimpy. This one has real meat to it. 6 meat toppings and a blend of cheeses. Pizza Hut Meat Lovers Pizza. Now, get 1 medium for $8.99. And a second pizza for half price. But hurry, it's a limited time offer.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
This Saturday, it's the NASCAR Busch Grand National North Series in their only Western Pennsylvania appearance with the running of the Chevy 200, plus a complete NASCAR Winston Racing Series program for the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models, Pro Stocks, Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, and Pure Stocks. Gates open at 3, late model time trials at 5:30, and racing at 6 p.m. Led by our Chevrolet official vehicle pace cars, see the Busch Grand National cars explode into excitement, plus a complete NASCAR Winston Racing Series 4-division program this Saturday, 6 p.m. at Jennerstown Speedway. We are back with our first race of this week's program, the Winston Select 20-lap main for the Riverside Bilo Street Stocks. There's a look at the top 3 rows.
Nick Rosa, Sean Beam on the front row, followed by Brian Audi, Rick Mielad, Carl Trevero, Marty Edwards. Boy, Sean Beam on the pole. Who do you think is going to win this race, Mike?
Well, I don't know, but I sure hope it isn't a tie.
Oh, let that rest, please. No more tie jokes, okay? Let's start this race. We have the pace car, which happens to be a 1994 Chevrolet Z28, pulls off the racetrack, and here we go. We're up to speed, and it is Sean Beam on the outside front row who assumes the initial point position as this flock of cars works their way down into the first set of turns.
It's always tight running at the opening flag on this event, and as Beam works down the back straightaway in that Thunderbird, he has a flock of Monte Carlos after him. That's a very popular body style in this division, and the Rose number 75 of Barry Audi is your second place machine, continues to try to close in, and look at everybody from third on back. Nick Rosa there in that Budweiser 46 has his hands full as he dives into turns 1 and 2. It looks like Carl Trevero on the outside challenging as we move on in the event. This is lap 13, and it's the lead battle.
And it's Sean Beam still holding that point position, but just behind him we have Brian Audi and the likes of Dave Wilt trying to work their way up to the lead, and Audi is selecting to work that high line, and Wilt just behind.
Hemminger's coming up from the 4th place position all the way through these early laps, and he's going to become part of this battle as he tries to close in on these 3 automobiles. In fact, when you've got 3 cars working like that, Steve, side by side, it gives a solo guy a chance to close up.
And as a matter of fact, Hemminger started back in the 3rd row because he was our feature winner here at Jennerstown last week, so he has had to work his way through a lot of traffic. What we're going to do here now is things are really getting hot as the cars work their way down the back straight. Let's take it right into a live call.
Hemminger continues to throw out the fishing line, hook the backstop for the top 3 automobiles, and he's beginning to reel them in as they work down the front straightaway. The top 4 automobiles in a miniature mechanical Caterpillar. Everybody's going to have to get in the position to show those poker hands on the table. Time in real estate's running out. 4 seconds remaining, and Dave Wilt pulls off the pace down the back straight. Can you believe that, Steve? Dave Wilt's car falls off the pace. Here's a guy that won the first 2 weeks at Jennerstown. Looked like he was going to be unbeatable as we still watch Sean Beam holding off the pressure of Brian Audi. And then Dave Wilt spins out. He's all over the place in last week's racing. And this week he has mechanical problems, throws him back to the 4th place position. He's falling off the pace. But it's still Beam up front, and he hasn't won at the Laurel Highlands Oval. He's won at our sister track, Motordrome, this year, but he's yet to win out here, and he's continued being pressured by Brian Audi, that's Barry's younger brother in this division, and Mike Hollywood Heminger. Now, all 3 of those drivers are very, very familiar with their racing. They're local drivers. They know each other, and we're going to take this thing down the back straightaway. Hey, things are going to shape up again to another call.
Audi cannot make the move. Heminger goes to the outside of Audi, trying to work out of turn 4. The white flag, 4 turns remaining in a Riverside Viola Street Stock Thunder Lightning Division. Beam continues the lead. He won at Motordrome last night. He's trying to make it a perfect record this weekend. Down the back straight by half a car length. Audi begins to close. They look at turns 3 and 4. Heminger goes high on Audi. Audi trying to make a move, but Sean Beam out of turn 4 holds a groove, and it's the bullet for the Checkers.
Sean Beam, starting in the front row, picks up the win, but he certainly didn't get the win without a lot of pressure from behind with Audi and Heminger hot at his heels. There's Sean in Victory Lane in our Street Stock feature.
The Riverside Viola sponsored division in a Winston Select 20-lap main sees Mike Heminger, of course, you've mentioned, finishing 3rd. Dave Wilt was able to hang on to 4th despite having that mechanical woes there in the last couple laps. And Nick Rosa, after all that pressure, hung on to the 5th place position. There's a happy Sean Beam in Victory Lane, and it's time for us to roll on in our racing this weekend. We're going to take this over into our next division. Behind this beautiful Chevrolet official vehicle pace car, Jennerstown, that Camaro Z28, we're going to see an unbelievable field of talent in our John Auto Parts Pure Later late model division. This will be their Winston Select 35-lap main for this weekend's racing. They receive not only track points, but Winston Racing Series points and all that money up there in the purse dealings for everybody chasing that checkered flag. Let's take a look at those top 3 rows as we can see the field come into view.
And I'll tell you what, Mike, I hope they don't let you drive that pace car, because I think you'd be a little bit dangerous out there in a car as powerful as a Z28 as they work their way down the back straight. You mentioned the front 3 rows. Here they are. Jeff Dunmeyer on the point. He qualified the backup Charlie Cragen car, did quite well, ran the fast dash. He'll start up front tonight, followed by Imler, Erickson, Miller, Pellis, and Cragen.
Dunmeyer, we should mention, is a regular in the Pro Stock division. He has dabbled a little bit in this division last year in some major events, but this is the first time for him to start in a pole in a regular weekly event in the John Auto Parts Pure Later late model division. The green's out. We are up to speed in racing.
And Dunmeyer does manage to hold on to almost first place. We've got the cars running front to back, bumper to bumper. We're going to be coming up on a full lap right now, but assuming the point position, it is the number 87 of Kenny Imler, and he holds on just barely, hot on his heels. The number 19 Power Flow car of Rick Miller.
So Imler, the East Freedom, Pennsylvania driver, the driver with the distinction of being the youngest pilot to ever visit Victory Lane at the Laurel Highlands Oval at 16 years of age, continues to hold on. I think he's about 21, 22 years of age nowadays as he works that high groove in the McDonald's of Duncansville and Evansburg Ford Thunderbird. Everybody else starts stringing by the 42 or X'd out machine. 92, I think they scored at Jeff Dunmeyer, including the 36 of Tiger Tom Erickson. And here comes a primary 42 ride to Scanlon Clinic car of Charging Charlie Cragen into 4th as Rick Miller tries low, the Connersville, Pennsylvania pilot, on the 87 of Ken Imler Jr. Look at that, they're trying to make it 3 wide.
This is very reminiscent of what happened here at the Laurel Highlands Oval 2 years ago. One of the drivers being the same, that's Ken Imler Jr., but 2 years ago he was running side by side with Charging Charlie Cragen for I don't know how many laps, 7, 8
laps. It seemed like an eternity out there, but that's not going to happen this time. Look at Rick Miller, he breaks through, and it opens up a window. Tiger Tom Erickson and the Budweiser, Heritage Harley Davidson also be a waste of time. He gets through, and Charging Charlie Cragen sneaks up on Imler's car as well.
Erickson never wanted to be shy, saw that door stay open, and he just said, well, I'm going to walk right through with no problems. We're going to move ahead in the event, and this is lap 7, battle for the lead, and it is still those 2 front-running cars of Tiger Tom Erickson and Rick Miller. They're going to run side by side for a while, but look who's running number 3rd. Here we have Charging Charlie Cragen, and he's waiting for the door to open so he can walk through.
And look who's behind him, Barry Audi. Audie's in the 4th place position, and it looks like it is. In fact, Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania's Tom Erickson muscles his way down through to the low side. He's yet to win at the Laurel Highlands Oval, but last year he won at our track. And he also won at Motordrome and Clearfield Mountain Speedway, the only driver to do that. Now down the back straightaway, Barry Audie's trying to get in the thick of things. Here comes Stevie Paulson, Riverside Bilo, Sanitary 00. Off the screen behind them also is a double G, Glenn Galt. So there's a flock of all the talent coming up through this field. And they're pressuring Rick Miller as they work into 1 and 2.
And as we had mentioned at the beginning of the program, like some of these cars have run quite well during the season so far, but we've got problems right now. This is the 00 of Steve Pellis, and he's falling off the pace with mechanical problems. The rest of the field continues to race. The yellow has not come out as of yet. Unfortunately, though, Pellis is going to be knocked out of this event as we watch our leaders work their way through the first set of turns, because as we go down into the pits on lap 9, right here is Steve Pellis, and he is out of the race. Very significant. Last week, Charging Charlie Cragen knocked out of the competition. This week, it's Pellis. Both drivers running 1 and 2 in the Northeast.
It's a few laps later, and we're back to the action. This is a battle for second. Here's the call.
Here comes Audie down the back straightaway. He and Barry Audie dives on Cragen. Oh, look at this race, fans. Audie muscling. They're hitting on a 4. Neither driver wants to give up a position. Oh, look at them. They get together on the front straight. Cragen and Audie. And Cragen and Audie the opportunity.
Wow, I guess that's what you call the heat of battle with those late models. It's Cragen managing to hold on to that second place position. Audie tries to come back up on him and challenge for the position, but as we come around for the checkered flag, this is the last lap. It is Tiger Tom Erickson who will become the first repeat winner in the late models here at Jennerstown this season.
A happy Tom and Victor Lane. It's Winston Select, 35-lap main for the John Auto Parts Pure Later late models. Let's take a look at the top 5 finishers as Tom celebrates in Victor Lane. And as we do that, we see that Charlie Cragen, as you mentioned, hangs on a second. Audie third. Rick Miller, after all the pressure, ends up fourth. And Glenn Galt stayed in that top 5 position at the drop of the checker.
Steve Pellis did manage to get back out and finish the race. Unfortunately, it was really a non-contender as far as positions were concerned. Hey, Mike, it's time for a race break. What do you have for us this week?
This race break is brought to you by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet Geo dealer, the official vehicle of Jennerstown Speedway. Well, I don't know. This certainly, I paid $4 for this. It doesn't look like a clown gave it to me, and certainly doesn't look like there's any oil spill in it. I don't know. Do you guys think that? Are we on? Hi, welcome to this week's race break. Have you ever wondered, when you watch some of your favorite drivers out here, like a Steve Pellis or a Glenn Galt or whoever it may be, have you ever wondered who their favorite driver is and why? Well, we've wondered that, so we're going to go into pits and find out.
Okay, in the past, I guess I'd have to say my dad, he raced about 10 years or so from 1955 to 65, and he was always around the race car. And that's where I really caught the fever. And I'd say he's my favorite driver then. And there was a lot of other good drivers too. I really enjoyed it. And now I'd say I don't really have a favorite. I like Earnhardt and Gant, and Martin. They're all good drivers. Wallace, you know, and Kenny Schrader. I really like him.
Well, Bill Elliott's my favorite driver, and late model Snooky Williams, he's probably my favorite driver now, you know, with Bill Elliott too.
Well, I used to follow Jim Bickerstaff around a lot back when we used to race Sharon and back at Heidelberg a little bit when I run there, and I used to always look up to him and try to find his groove. I guess right now I like Winston Cup. I like Rusty Wallace, and we miss Davey Allison a lot. We used to really like him, and but yeah, we'd like to see Rusty do good all the time.
Winston Cup, I really like Dale Earnhardt. He seems to be the guy to beat. And locally, Barry Audie's my favorite, and I have to go with Stevie Pellis also. Jeff Dunbar, because he's local.
Well, back in my past, I used to always like Blackie Watt. He knew how to slide them around on that old dirt. Now that's the old Dale Earnhardt.
Who's your favorite driver?
Steve Richard.
Why?
Well, he's the only guy I know that stinks so bad that if we were on a racetrack, I could beat him.
My dad was always an idol to me. He got me started in this, and my brother is now to me. And Winston Cup driver, Dale Earnhardt. There's nobody else better than him right now.
In the past, around Jennerstown, I really didn't have a favorite. My first year I was pretty new at it, and I'd say last year, toward the end of last year, I think Steve Pellis is one of my favorite drivers here, because I was in an accident at the end of last year, and he seemed to be like one of the only people. He came over, he asked me, you know, how I was and everything, and I think he does a really good job out there when he's driving, and I hope someday I can move up to that class and drive something like him.
Well, some of the drivers from the past, probably
Probably still in the present, very much so. It'd be Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, all people like Benny Parsons, those people.
This race break has been brought to you by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet Geo dealer, the official vehicle of Jennerstown Speedway.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
It's sizzling hot. It's the best pizza deal you can cut. A deal that isn't skimpy. This one has real meat to it. 6 meat toppings and a blend of cheeses. Pizza Hut Meat Lovers Pizza. Now, get 1 medium for $8.99. And a second pizza for half price. But hurry, it's a limited time offer.
This Saturday, it's the NASCAR Busch Grand National North Series in their only Western Pennsylvania appearance with the running of the Chevy 200, plus a complete NASCAR Winston Racing Series program for the John Auto Parts Pure Later Late Models, Pro Stocks, Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, and Pure Stocks. Gates open at 3, late model time trials at 5:30, and racing at 6 p.m. Led by our Chevrolet official vehicle pace cars, see the Busch Grand National cars explode into excitement, plus a complete NASCAR Winston Racing Series 4-division program this Saturday, 6 p.m. at Jennerstown Speedway.
We are back. Now, Steve, this is a highlight show, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here, but anybody, if you want to go to the refrigerator, this is not the time to do it. This race gets pretty wild. It's a Pro Stocks, a Winston Select 25 let. I mean, there's a look at the top 3 rows.
Chris, the Terminator Kokenauer, and Kelly Shawless will lead this field down the straight, and Jerry Wisner, Larry Bahana behind them. Jerry Wisner involved with one of the most dramatic comeback races in the Pro Stock events I've seen. That happened 2 years ago. We'll have to see if he's up to that task again tonight. But right now, it is up to the Terminator and Kelly Shawless to bring this flock of Pro Stocks up to speed. And, whoa, it's a little bit of a different start. Oh, we're looking at a lot of bumping and grinding going on as the field works its way down into the first set of turns.
A good field of Pro Stocks and a lot of contenders there, and they're all jammed up in the middle of the pack as we work down the backstretch. Kelly Shawless is still leading this event, but look at this, 2-3 wide position battles for second, third, fourth, and fifth. And it looks like breaking through as Shawless gets by. We're going to move ahead, breaking through, and now threatening to go and into the lead. The AJ's Furniture 20 of Dave Hunt, but wham! Look at that. A horrendous crash. It involved the 07 of Jeff Dunmire, the 84 Jerry Wisner, and Danny Perigo in the number 1 machine. Now we're going to do this all over again down the backstretch. There they get together. They slide, Steve, and then...
Ouch, into the Jersey barrier, and Perigo high on the turn, got the car sideways, and he slides in. Fortunately, we can tell you all of the drivers were not injured here. As a matter of fact, Jeff Dunmire is going to get that car back out on the track. We're going to pick the action back up.
It's the restart, and it's lap 5. It's a lead battle. Kelly Shawless is out front. While he's out there, we're going to go to the call.
Down the back straight, he goes to the outside on Shawless. Shawless knows he's there this time. Denies him the opportunity. Wow, 3 wide. Ouch, look at this at 3 and 4. Unbelievable racing in the Pro Stocks. All over the racing surface these drivers are going.
We told you this was going to be a wild one. Let's go back to another call.
Here comes Duke McLaughlin, the SCCA Trans Am racer. This guy never raced an oval till about a couple weeks ago. Look at him trying to go for the lead. Rapid Robert Arsenberger. Oh, this is like a powder keg ready to explode down the front straight. We're trying to make it 3 wide for the lead.
Don't look now, Steve, but here come the Fords into this effect here. The 26 of Bob Arsenberger's running 4th as Duke McLaughlin grabs the lead. And behind him is Denny Wingert as we're going to move on in this event. McLaughlin establishes a lead right here, but we go a few laps later. Right here, lead battle. Look at this. Now the AJ's Furniture, Dave Hunt comes up on McLaughlin once again. They dive through lap traffic there. Freeliners machine.
No.
They get together. Look what happens to that. Now, repercussions in the back. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Don White in the 19 on top of his car is the 87 automobile. That's Butch Durkis. They hit the inside retaining barrier. No one was injured here. We're going to get another look at this from the back straight camera.
As we watch the field come down the back straight, things are going to get very interesting with lap traffic here. And Oh, the cars just barely touch, but they do get sideways, and the repercussions do occur. There we can see Durkis's car, which has already climbed up on top of the hood of Wyatt's car. One more look at this.
Yeah, there's something to explain here. What probably happened is Durkis overreacting there, reacting with Don Wyatt, and climbed up on his car by just getting one wheel on another. We should explain, even though these are full-bodied cars, if you get a wheel on another wheel, it'll lift the car right up in the air, and they piggyback like that. We're going to move on now, and this is the lead battle on lap 11. And
we are still looking at the likes of Duke McLaughlin holding on to the first place position. But here comes Rapid Robert Arsenberger down on the outside, grooming that high line. And boy, I tell you what, it's not going to take him a whole lot of time to get his nose in front of McLaughlin. And right there, he assumes, I guess you could say, the lead.
Well, right now in this event, the Davies Ford Thunderbird does have the lead. McLaughlin is an SCCA road racer, Trans Am racer. He doesn't have the experience. As we move on here in the last lap, he's doing a tremendous job not racing oval tracks at all, hanging on to second so close. As we exit out of turn 4, though, it's the Mill Run, Pennsylvania driver known as the Rapid One. Bob Arsenberger and the Davies Ford Thunderbird takes the checkered in this week's racing of the Winston Select 25-lap main for the Pro Stocks.
McLaughlin was able to hold the lead position for quite a while, but didn't manage getting the win. I'm sure there's a win in his immediate future, the way he was driving tonight. There we look at our top 5, Arsenberger and McLaughlin. Denny Wengert, feature winner also this year. Jennerstown finishes 3rd, followed by Kessler and Jeff Dunmeyer, who was involved in that early race incident.
Incredible, he even was able to make it back in the racing to finish in the 5th place. There he is from Mill Run, Pennsylvania, Bob Arsenberger. We're going to take time out to go on to yet another feature where no, it's not time to go to the refrigerator again.
No, look at all of these cars.
This is the fireworks division in their Winston Select 15-lap main. They are the pure stocks behind that Chevrolet Camaro. There's a look at the top 3 rows, and this one is a barn burner too.
Ryan Hildebrand and Bob Mostaller will lead this armada of cars as they are going to start this race. I think I can actually put away my abacus now if I count it correctly. I think we had 22 cars in this field, and for these ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a very interesting race just because we have so many cars, and we're going to bring them up to speed. And as we do come up to speed, you'll see there is no gap. We're going to stay bumper to bumper as this whole field works its way down the front.
And they're trying three wide position battles going into turns 1 and 2. We have no less than 3 female pilots that run with us weekly in this field. As they go down the back straight, I think everybody in the grandstands is saying, will we make it one lap without getting a caution? Look, I count 5 different paths out there that everybody taken down the back straightaway. It's Ryan Hildebrand out there in the lead position. Eric Scomo, rookie in that yellow car, a former Dave Brunel machine, I think it is. He's riding in the 2nd place position. Way up high at 77 is Mitchie Shawless, making it 3 wide in the middle of the pack. And look at this, 3 wide to battle for second.
You almost have to say it's anybody's ballgame at this stage of the race because everybody's just right up front, immediately behind the leader. But a significant incident, the number 30 of the Cobra, Mark Corden, a multiple feature winner here at Jennerstown, hits the wall hard.
This brings out something real interesting. The Cobra's car, a dominant car, as we go back to the restart here, with his car out, a lot of these drivers are thinking, hey, I got a chance for victory lane, so everybody's jamming for these positions. And here we have a problem here down the back straight. The 48 of Mike Backlon getting into Mike Davis's car. We continue with all the cars getting through all over the place. There's a spun car out of turn 2.
Checking for dandelions down there on the
cutting the grass.
This is the restart following that incident. And look at this battle. This is for 2nd place. This is not the time to leave your TV set and go to the refrigerator.
Scomo, the rookie, right out there running 2nd. He's trying to go for the lead. Oh, Scomo going up high with a sky shot out of turn 4. Trying to make this is going to be hair-raising. As we go down into turn 1, everybody jammed up. The fireworks division ready to explode in color, sight, and sound down the back straightaway. On the 3rd circuit of the Winston Select 15-lap main for the pure stocks. Oh my, look at this can opener job we've got going in 3 and 4. Bent sheet metal everywhere. You can smell it. It's in the air, race fans.
The aroma of mayhem is beginning to come prominent. Here's the call again.
The battle for the lead. The rookie Scomo goes up high, gets the car loose. Here comes Dan Campbell through the wild man. Sees an opening between 2 automobiles. He tries to go for the lead, and the wild man goes wild in turn 3 and 4. Scomo's out of control. Oh, look out! Wow! Oh, we're still not done.
Well, that's what you get for putting your hand in the way of the refrigerator door.
I told you not to go to the refrigerator. Let's take another look at this incident from our turn 3 camera. The flock of cars down the back straight. Eric Scomo in the yellow car there on the outside, just going past your screen, gets the car out of control, gets sideways, gets tapped. Ouch, into the outside
almost
retaining
out of the
wall,
ballpark.
crosses traffic, into the inside retaining wall, and unfortunately, one more hit.
Kevin Schmucker.
The good news is none of the drivers seriously injured. Let's take another look.
When we watch this, I want to point out a couple things. Now, here, ScoMo tries to overcorrect on a loose marbles, then it's tapped by Kokenar, almost leaves the ballpark. Right here, steering and brakes are broke. He's out of control, nowhere to go, and then bam. Now, watch Schmucker. Watch him. Look at his head bob back and forth in there after that impact. He has all the safety harnesses on, and that's one of the reasons why both these drivers walked away uninjured. Now, we're going to go back to racing later in the event. This is a lead battle. It's still been Ryan Hildebrand who's wondering how much do I have to go here before I end up trying to grab the checkered here with all kinds of pressure. But the wild man, Rick Ackerman, will go to the outside of him as they work out of turn 2. Now, the 27 is Brian Thomas, back in his own machine. Dave Brunell drives that for him Friday nights at Motordrome. But right now, Brian Thomas is back in that machine, and he's watching this battle that occurs in front of him. And it looks like Ackerman on the outside, despite dirt track in the car, Steve, is going to be able to grab the lead down the front straight from Hildebrand, who's hanging on tough on the low side.
It's very interesting with this class of cars. The drivers who opt to run that outside line have to be very careful because those cars have a tendency to wash out, and if they get too high in the turns, they just kind of fall back, and it's Ackerman who manages to work that outside line very, very well. He assumes the point position. Brian Thomas, hot on his heels, sees the door open, says, well, maybe I'll walk through too.
And he'll continue dirt tracking in the outside. Once again, all these drivers anxious to try to move up through the field. Look, you've got Ron Conway there in the 75 behind him, and all kinds of pressure going on. Now, we're going to take this thing as they work into 1 and 2 and move ahead in the event. We're coming down to the final laps of racing. This is a lead battle, and it is a 93 automobile. That's Dan Campbell, who's managed to close up onto the back bumper, Ackerman's car, and it's time to take it into another call.
The white flag, 1 lap remaining. Campbell in the North Star Equipment 93 goes low. Brian Thomas comes high. Now Campbell has to glue to the back bumper. Ackerman once again. He will try low. He will muscle down the back. Oh, a little bit of door knocking. Now he goes to the high side. Ackerman right there. Here comes Campbell. Oh, it's going to be a horse race. Campbell and Ackerman. Oh, look at this to the wall. Oh, no. Who's it going to be? It's Ackerman. Unbelievable.
You can't get much closer than that. I'll tell you what, Ackerman picking up his first win at 94 here at Jennerstown, followed by Campbell just a bumper behind.
Some great racing in the fireworks division in this Winston Select 15 Circuit Main. We go back to Rick Ackerman and Victor Lane. Stay with us, coming right up, Words of Wisdom. We're glad you could join us this weekend on Chase to the Checkered. That concludes racing for this week.